All praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Chakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone. Shalom, salutations to the hopeful elect that's fighting a good fight of faith and truth, in sincerity and wholeheartedly. Shalom to the Akwath, which is the women believers. Shalom to you. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Chakadash. The water Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, for another opportunity to do the work and to be in my right mind. So a reality that needs to be understood is that, the message is the same. The Bible don't change. The words in the book is the same. The Lord is very, very repetitive. And I definitely understand why. Because majority of people in general, but especially our people, are hard-headed. A lot of things go through one ear and out the other. So for people who've been watching the truth for years and been being believers for years, you might hear, the same story told over and over, different perspectives. The prophecies is still the same. So how, this world, I'm talking about this is for the believers. You know that this world is temporary. But if you really don't have the understanding of that, a lot of things that happen in this world can distract you. The world is going to continue to move along. The world is not going to stop until the Lord stop it. You can get caught up in that. That's why the Lord talks about keeping your eyes single. So you have to know that this world is temporary. And even our forefathers, matter of fact, let's get this real quick. These all died in faith. Now, when you go up in this chapter, it's talking about Noah, it's talking about Enoch, it's talking about Abraham. And as you continue to go down in the chapter, it talks about Isaac, it talks about Jacob, it talks about Sarah, so this is a faith chapter. So these is talking about our forefathers, foremothers who had faith. All died in faith, not having received the promises. So understand this. Now, in their time was a very, very far off. Our time is very, very soon that these prophecies going to come to pass. So that's why the scripture says whatsoever is written aforetime is written for our learning. So imagine Abraham. That's towards the beginning of time. He getting all these promises. He believed, knowing that it was going to be afar off. Now we are the ones who are able to interpret the prophecies now, because we are in that time. See, the book was sealed. Our forefathers got visions of things that's going to happen in the future, and they was trying to explain it the best way that they could with the things that they are familiar with. So when it's talking about Babylon the Great, the mystery Babylon, the mother of all harlots, the abomination of the earth, trying to paint a picture, writing down, words trying to describe what they're seeing in the future is hard when, the things in the future it wasn't no such thing as America in the time that Apostle John, seen the vision in the book of Revelation. Now the landmass was here, but I'm talking about America. Okay. So how can the prophets talk about nuclear missiles when there wasn't no nuclear missiles back then? So they call it arrows. They call it they call the warheads talents, which is a measurement. If you look at a talent, it looks like a warhead. All right. So these things you have to understand. So let's read it all the way through now. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them. See? And embraced them and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. Whew. Come on. All right. Let's break this down, man. This message is for us because we are forefathers and foremothers coming back. So we embrace the prophecies. The Lord have given us the heart to understand the prophecies and the eyes to see, the ears to hear. Blessed are your eyes for they see, blessed are your ears for they hear. So, but it says, and confess that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. We are not in our resting place. We are not in our homeland. A pilgrim, when you go into that word in the definition, is a man traveling to a holy place. The Lord have put us in a position to rehearse the righteous acts, to be delivered, to be able to have access to that holy place, to be delivered and taken to that holy place, our homeland, Jerusalem. So we confess that we are strangers and pilgrims upon the earth. Those who are in the truth, we don't talk about America, our country. We don't even speak like that. We don't call ourselves Americans. We don't call ourselves we don't say our country. We understand that this is the place of our captivity and the Lord is going to destroy it off the face of the earth, man. So our forefathers received the promises, knowing that it was going to be afar off. They believed in them, though. See, we in this time where they're not afar off, but they confessed that they're strangers and pilgrims upon the earth, though. The same mentality that you have to have. This is not our rest. As I say in Micah 2:10, this is not our rest. It is polluted and it will destroy you. So this is what's about to come. I'm ending on these sets of scriptures because this is very important, man. This is what's about to come. This is what you call a pilgrim right here. Oh, my people, hear my word, make you ready to your battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. In those evils is coming. Evils is coming. So before the Lord destroy this continent off the face of the earth, evil's got to come. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. If you are a businessman, you're not going to have no profit by it. If you're a person who got money and you just like to buy materialistic things, you're not going to have no profit by it. Nothing that you investing in is going to be profitable. That's why 1 Corinthians 7:31 use the world not as abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. When you go into that word fashion in the Greek, it talks about the way of life. So the way of life is about to change. The way that you buy and sell is about to change. You should know what that means. So this devil is about to transform a system where he have control over everything. That's why he's about to do away with the dollar. And ain't going to be no more under the table jobs. And ain't going to be no more hustling. And ain't going to be no more overtime. Everybody's going to have universal basic income tied to a social credit system. So you have no choice but to do what he say. That's the world that you want. And a lot of people are going to bow down because the scripture says so. And only the elect is going to make it out of this, which I hope to be a part of. And it says, he that occupieth merchandise as he that have no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. You got people still building houses, building businesses. It's going to come to naught. He that soweth as if he should not reap, so also he that planteth the vineyard as he that shall not gather the grapes. Listen, everything that you do is not going to profit you, man. Everything is about to be unprofitable. The only thing that's going to be profitable is if you actually invested in faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. The devil have allowed, I put it like this, for you can have understanding that our power is in control. The Lord put the spirit on the devil to allow all these migrants to come over here, and majority of them are UN peacekeepers, sleeper cells. You got so many sleeper cells over here, which is just people that's inactive, waiting to get active. They on call. And when they get that call, they don't got no ties to anybody here. And they going to lay you down without even blinking the eye, because that's their job. And they just want to, provide for themselves. They that marry as they that should get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers. Remember, the scripture says eating, drinking, and being merry, right? Giving into marriage. See, we're heading into a time where all the people that's planning marriages, I'm trying to get, because it's 2024 now, I'm trying to get married in the next year or two. It ain't going to come to pass. You do not understand what this world is transforming into. You already see what's going on with the Trump thing. That's going to cause a civil war. It's about to become the survival of the fittest out here. Everybody going to have to fend for themselves. It's going to be lack of resources, lack of food. Famine is coming. And because of great tribulation and lack of bread, people are not going to have pity upon their neighbor. And therefore, they that labor in vain. So everything that you're doing is going to come to naught. It's not going to be profitable. Because the Lord said the new wine mourneth. That's in Isaiah 24:7, I want to say. The new wine mourneth. That's the new system. The merry-hearted do sigh. There's not going to be no more going to the club, taking trips. Don't forget about the cyber attacks. They have to knock this whole system down. Build back better. Remember that term that they came up in 2020? To build back better, that means you have to break down to build back better. This whole system, everything is on the electronic grid. A cyber attack, boy, all they got to do is that, and it's over for a lot of people. It's going to get real dark out here, literally. Then what? If you didn't invest, see, you invested in your business, you invested in your money, you invested in your job, you invested in the ways of this world, but you did not invest in the Lord. Who controls life and death, rich and poor, adversity and prosperity? He the one that controls those things. For strangers shall reap their fruits, spoil their goods. See, all these migrants that's over here, including your neighbor who you don't talk to. See, we live in a time where you can have a neighbor for 10 years and probably say hi 5 times. Like if y'all coming outside at the same time, or, you cross each other taking out the trash. See, even back in my time, I'm only 36, but in the 90s, neighbors knew each other. Neighbors used to speak. But even in the 90s, it was still basically turning to, people not knowing each other like that. That's like at the beginning of the end, of that era of people, knowing each other, knowing neighbors and stuff like that. But for the most part, nobody know each other neighbors. You don't know who or what your neighbor is like. You don't know if this man and woman, serial killer, crazy, mental problems. And guess what? Everything is going to heighten and increase in the time of trouble. The real you is going to come out in these times. So these migrants, your neighbors, for strangers shall reap their fruits, spoil their goods, overthrow their houses. This is why you're going to be a pilgrim upon the earth. And take their children captives, for in captivity and famine shall they get children. That's a lot of ravishing. RAPEING. All you women out there, all you Instagram models and OnlyFans models, and you content creators want to show your titties and ass, the Lord got something for you. Continue to be a harlot. The Lord gonna show you what a real harlot is. I'm telling you, man. And Lord willing, I am not on the bad side of the Lord. See, the reason that the hopeful elect speak like that, because it's all about enduring to the end. Don't nobody know if they part of the elect. Okay? So it says, and they that occupy their merchandise with robbery, the more they deck their cities, their houses, their possessions, and their own persons, the more I will be angry with them for their sins, saith the Lord. So this is what you need to understand. This have to be understood, and that will direct your fear in the Lord and direct your steps in the Lord. And then you will have a more favorable outcome than the rest of these people out here. Act like you know what you're a part of. So all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai and Shalom.